Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Kellen Moore has added a couple of more assistants, and one of the things that's been pretty obvious about his staff so far is he's hired guys with whom he's familiar. Doug Nussmeier is going to be the offensive coordinator. They've been together since 2018. Brandon Staley's the defensive coordinator. You know Staley, when he was the head coach of the Chargers, hired Moore as his offensive coordinator. Brought a couple of other staffers from Philly. There's just a lot of familiarity and commonality there. So add another one. Kyle Wilber has been added to the Saints staff. He's been the Packers special teams quality control coach. Wilber, if the name sounds familiar, Kyle Wilber spent 10 years in the NFL as a linebacker, first 6 years of his career with the Dallas Cowboys. That's when he overlapped with Kellen Moore. They were teammates in Dallas. When Wilber retired, he immediately went into coaching. He was there with Green Bay as a special teams assistant, and now he will, or quality control, now he'll be the assistant special teams coordinator or an assistant, special teams coach in New Orleans, with Phil Galliano being promoted internally as the special teams coordinator. So another player with whom there's a lot of familiarity there for Kellen Moore that he's added to his staff, which is why this hire, the second one, is super odd. Because of all of the familiarity so far on Kellen Moore's staff, there's no connective tissue, at least none obvious, with adding Terry Joseph. Now, I like this a lot. Terry Joseph is, listen, the Joseph family in New Orleans are sort of, I don't know, they're kind of like a football royal family. From the high school ranks, from Terry Joseph and Vance Joseph, who's, of course, the defensive coordinator in the NFL right now. There are a long line of great athletes and football players and coaches from that lineage. Well, apparently, Ian Rappaport reported that the Saints wanted a defensive coach with college experience, and so they went and got Terry Joseph from Texas. The interesting part of this is, there's no connection at all. Wanting a college coach, okay, if that's what Kellen Moore wanted for whatever reason, okay. But there's no apparent shared experience with anybody on this current staff. So, Terry Joseph is a New Orleans native, went to Shaw. He's coached all over the college ranks. After his playing career, and he actually played collegiate baseball at Northwestern State and played minor league ball for a handful of years, baseball, before becoming a football coach. He coached football at Shaw and then jumped into the college ranks. He was actually, his first college job, he was a GA at LSU under Les in 2006. That was Terry Joseph's first taste of college football. And then he just started, Louisiana Tech, Tennessee, Nebraska, Texas A&M, North Carolina, Notre Dame. He's been all over college football. And since 2021, he's been at Texas. So for the last 5 seasons, Terry Joseph has been a defensive backs coach at the University of Texas. He's a New Orleans native. He's got no NFL experience, and there's no shared experience on this staff. He's never coached with or against Kellen Moore, never coached with Brandon Staley on the defensive staff. The closest that they got, Terry Joseph in 2011 was a coach at Tennessee. The following year, Staley was an assistant coach for 1 year at Tennessee. So they missed each other by a year. So Joseph left after 11. Staley came in 12 in Knoxville. That's the closest that these ships ever were to passing each other. Maybe the timing is interesting. Joseph is 51 years old. I think, obviously, this is an opportunity to come coach the NFL team in his hometown. Maybe he's looking at Texas going, perhaps this is where Texas takes a little bit of a step back after the college football playoff team this past season. They're losing a ton of that talent, including Quinn Ewers. Of course, you got Arch, but You're losing a lot of guys from that Texas team. The returning production numbers over at ESPN, the SP Plus returning production numbers came out today on Monday, and Texas is in the triple digits. They're like 110th or something like that in the country in returning production. Probably an opportunity to make more money as well. Terry Joseph at Texas, his salary this past season was $825K. He's coming to New Orleans as the defensive pass game coordinator because he'll have coordinator on his title. He'll very likely make more money. So coach in the NFL, coach in your hometown, make more money. All of that checks boxes, right? There's all those reasons why Terry Joseph would take the job. It's just interesting why and how Kellen Moore identified Terry Joseph to say, that's the guy I want on my staff. But this is an interesting time to come to New Orleans as well, because in that position group, in that secondary, it feels like this is going to be a formative type year where you've got young guys, Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry, trying to elevate themselves. You've got Paulson Adebo, who's a free agent, but coming off an injury where I think we're all hoping the Saints are able to re-sign Paulson Adebo, but that doesn't seem like a certainty at this point. At safety, Tyrann Mathieu is nearing the end of his career, and you desperately need help at the other safety spot. So there's maybe some clay there to be molded in that secondary by Terry Joseph, which is why this could be an interesting time. Some young players, some turnover, new coach, new system, a little bit of maybe some autonomy in the defensive secondary, coming home, probably making a little bit more money. A lot of that seems like it could make sense for Terry Joseph at this time, but an interesting hire, to say the very least, one that's very much off the radar because there are no lines pointing to either Staley or Kellen Moore throughout his coaching lineage. But Terry Joseph, New Orleans football royalty, the Joseph family, Terry Joseph coming to New Orleans, coach the Saints as the defensive pass game coordinator, the latest addition to the Kellen Moore staff. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.